I hate to say I told you so, but I called this like 2, 3 years ago, Coach. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second era of the critically acclaimed Pop the Trunk podcast, now Patreon, and sometimes publicly exclusively sponsored Hall of Fame. Recency Bias Radio. With me, of course, is your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trail, the Rant God, Hotep Thanos, Throne Thanos, Metro Kaiba, the Pro Black Prodigy, here to bring balance back to the realm. All of the above on that ISAT test and ACT. You know what it is. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for a rare Big Brother rant during BB off season. But in case you've been under a rock, there is trouble in Hilton Head. Matter of fact, don't let that laugh tell you how funny this shit is. Let me let Doflamingo do it for me. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, we gonna talk that hot shit tonight, Coach, because it was years ago where I was the only one on my soapbox telling y'all that Tangela showmance was a faux-mance. I told y'all that thing was fake because I didn't see enough romantic electricity between the two of them. And that's why this rant is called Trouble in Hilton Head, a Tangela entanglement. Because in case y'all don't know, yeah, the woman Miss Angela, the mustache mistress, she's been dirty macking on the side. It wasn't the man this time, right? And it's funny because I tried to convince people a long time ago during BB20. I tried to tell them. And see, this is why people can't come at me, because I wasn't even one of the first people to come up with this scandal, to tell people about it. Understand, Steve from BB Gossip, he stands by it as factual. Brent Wolgamott from RHAP, he stands by it as factual. And you got Kat Dunn, the Crimson Chin. She stands by it as factual. Ladies and gentlemen, those are three people from three vastly polar opposite sides of the BB spectrum that all can agree on something. Ladies and gentlemen, that's almost like lightning striking in the same place on the same day. So let's all just come to the conclusion that this has some truth to it. And at the end of the day, are we that shocked? And please believe in this rant, I am going to give y'all what y'all want. We gonna fry these mugs because this couple, specifically their fan base, has done everything in their power to try to tear down Swayleigh, the only real black couple we have in Big Brother US lore. They did everything in their power to tear them down to prop up Tangela. So because of that, they got to eat crow and they got to deal with their own smoke tonight. Because at the end of the day, who would have thought Swayleigh would be the couple that is out of the way, calm, cordial, about their money, but doesn't need to be in the center of attention at all times. That was how Tangela fans tried to portray that couple, remember? Now we have that couple actually becoming everything, the antithesis of what they said they were initially, they are becoming. And it is reinforcing everything I've said about their couple since the beginning of time. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, during BB21, this man, Tyler, he was anointed as the chosen one. I called him Lifeguard Jesus as a joke because that's how his fans treat him. Like he can do no wrong, like he turns water to wine, right? By the way, let me just make sure y'all can hear this rant, right? There's no lag. There's nothing like the last one, right? I can go, right? All right, I'm finna unleash the Infinity Stones. They're shining. But anyway, understand, Tyler, this dude could not get Bayleigh. So he settled for a rebound. Initially, the rebound was Caitlyn. But he just used her to get out Swaggy because he wasn't man enough to take him out himself. I'm speaking nothing but facts here. So that was the beginning of me painting him in that beta male light. That's important because this story gives off tons of beta male vibes off of Tyler. It gives off tons of them. So I have to build this story correctly. Okay? I have to build it correctly. So understand, he couldn't get Bayleigh. So he settled for Caitlyn. Wasn't really feeling it that much. Caitlyn had a battle back twist puzzle that she suffered at. That led to him settling for Angela. Both of them happened to be from the same place, Hilton Head. I believe that's in South Carolina, North Carolina. I don't know. Somewhere in the Carolinas, right? And the reason why I know that is because Tyler had an alliance with Christmas Rousey during BB21 called the Carolinas. Well, anyway, they're both from Hilton Head. So it's clear as day they were both picked because production wanted them to have that in common. That way they could ice break with each other and have a showmance. Needless to be said, 1 week during BB20, they went from being strictly platonic to all of a sudden being romantic. It was forced. And I brought this up during my BB20 rants, which all of you can check out because the entire playlist is public. I'm saying all this to say this. If it wasn't for the humiliation of Tyler knowing that the woman he really wanted didn't want him, he would have never got with Angela in the first place. He needed to save face. So understand, if they have shown us a pattern of saving face no matter what by settling for a story that's less scandalous as the scandal that's on the precipice, if you will, right? Tyler didn't want to own up to the fact that he had a crush on Bayleigh. So instead, he made it seem like he always wanted Angela more than Bayleigh. He told Bayleigh he didn't need or want her vote. So when she didn't vote for him, and when he needed her vote at the end, his fans blamed her for why he lost, instead of holding him accountable as a grown-ass man for telling a woman he didn't need or want her vote. See, they refused to hold this couple accountable, and that's why I've had to do it on everyone's behalf for years. So, needless to be said, everyone thinks I have an agenda against this couple, when in reality, I don't really have an agenda. My problem is people treat Swayleigh this way, and then they treat Tangela that way. They don't treat them the same. So it's up to me to even that playing field. And when I even the playing field, that's when everyone gets mad because I have the vernacular to expose their agenda. So understand, let's fast forward to BB21. Tyler is fully aware that he came off as anti-black during BB20. He's also aware that people love him. People don't like Angela. Understand, the stupidest move Tyler could have done, for a guy that claims to be so good at Big Brother, he is really stupid at reading people outside the house, isn't he? If I would have had an opportunity to sit down with Tyler, I would have told him a long time ago, why are you still with this chick, Angela? The only reason why people rock with Tangela is because of you, Tyler. No one rocks with Angela as much as you. Matter of fact, if you were to ask your own fan base what's the approval rating of Tyler versus Angela, before this scandal even happened, it'd be 90% Tyler, maybe 10% Angela. That's how it was split. So understand, Angela, she got into business with you, Tyler, because you're the cash cow. You're the one who was on that show with Kevin Hart before you got on Big Brother. You're the chosen one. You're Neo. This chick is just some random chick marauding around acting like she's Trinity, when in reality, she ain't even Niobe. Let's get it cracking. But my point is, ladies and gentlemen, she got into business with you. She made sure Tangela Inc. became your YouTube channel. She put you in all of these different traps to where even if she did mess up, you can't afford to let her go. It's cheaper to keep her. So when this scandal and story comes out, and Angela's dirty macking is put to the light, people tried to shine a light on, well, here's Tangela at this random kitchen table acting like everything is fine, so I don't think anything happened now. Even Tyler posted it to his IG. Nothing could be wrong if Tyler's posting that. Or Angela could have took his phone and put him in timeout. I gotta keep it all the way funky with you, Tyler. It's looking like she's your mama, not your woman. I gotta keep it funky. Now, I'm going to provide the evidence and the proof to back up my claims because I want you all to know this rant is only possible because of the hard work of others. I am not someone who steals from people. That's why I have a problem when people steal from me. So first and foremost, let's give credit where it is due. Big Brother Gossip Steve, he let all the tea out because this is only the beginning of the rant. I got some other stuff to bring up here, but let's break this down. Angela is cheating on Tyler with her ex-boyfriend. They've been seen at Sea Pines Resort to try to keep things hush-hush, but he's keep running his mouth. Also, they are saying, well, this is a tweet that I'm guessing is from Kat Dunn as well, but pretty much they have put it all on Reality Steve, who's with BB Gossip. Reality Steve is rarely, if ever, wrong. So it's one of them things where if he comes up with it, at this point, he's done the vetting process for so long, he knows he can't be wrong. So he doesn't fear any ramifications if he comes out with it. Now, I'm sharing all of that on screen. Y'all can pause and read it and watch it back if y'all want to read those things. It's not important for that to take up the screen all the time. But my point is, everything that I'm going to say is based off of someone else's research. Okay? But with that said, I've done my own research and I have been staunch in my position about them. And everything this scandal implies backs up everything I've ever said. You know, for Angela to get on YouTube talking about, I'm gonna give up, when Tyler was being held accountable for the way he treated Davon and Bayleigh, right? Let's talk about it. This man wanted to quit the game to come back home to a woman who was cheating on him. He weaponized the BLM movement at that time to make himself seem like an ally, only to then renege on quitting as soon as he got into a room with, I don't think it was Rich Meehan, but I think it was, who was it, Grodner? It was probably Grodner and Christmas Rousey in that HOH room. It was all feeds, I remember. So understand, everything this dude did on that season, he did in his mind to make Angela proud, not himself. He was a vegan to fit into her lifestyle. He never made her fit into his. That's beta male tendencies 101. You're living her life, bruh. Now, it's one thing if you're in love with the girl, okay, you'll make some things happen. But if you're changing everything you are for her, she knows she has a certain control over you to where, of course, she gonna cheat on you, bruh. It's no challenge. There's no challenge to you. She's bored. But while I would like to feel sorry for Tyler, I gotta keep it all the way a bean. You're on national TV marketing a cookbook of a chick who's getting bust wide open by another dude. You took L's here, bruh. You took L's. You wanted to quit. You decided to stay on BB21 because you needed the money because you have a business with a woman who's getting her back blown out by another man. Allegedly, but still, it's an L. Understand, the same fans that can't stand Swayleigh, if Swayleigh was in this same position, they would be doing exactly what Swayleigh fans are doing to Tangela right now. So I don't want to hear people say, oh, you have to be the bigger man at some point. I don't want to hear that when the false idol you worship is getting put to the guillotine. I don't want to hear that now. You should have been saying that during BB20. Y'all the same fans that allowed JC to get away with saying the N-word in front of Bayleigh. I remember all this stuff. I'm an almanac. So when I bring up the CV and resume of myself to give myself the credibility before I speak, it's because I know some people will dismiss me just because I'm a black man saying it. But that's okay. Because at the end of the day, Angela was the one who went out of her way to say, there's just so much hate in this world. I wish people would stop being so hateful towards Tyler. Meanwhile, she was planning to get her back blown out by another man. She's the same woman on video who said she contacted the police. Remember this? She said she contacted the police to stop people from being so hateful. But she never contacted the police to stop people from being so hateful towards Swayleigh when they were going through it. And we know what they went through. I'm not going to bring that up here. But that's my point. Why is it only hate when y'all get served some karma? Why is it only hate when someone that ain't black gets treated bad? How come it ain't hate when you weaponize your fan base against Swayleigh because you don't like the fact that their business is better than yours? And I understand during BB21, they were quite friendly towards each other. Swaggy said he would give her some tips in the stock market without the BAM. But at the end of the day, let's just keep it all the way funky. I'm pretty sure Swaggy did not appreciate the way Tyler treated Bayleigh that season. The way he kept trying to act like, oh man, you know I'll work with you at some point, but I never will. The way he chose an alliance over the alliance he should have been working with anyway. The way Tyler went out of his way to target Janelle, even though he needed Janelle and Kass himself to do anything within the game. Tyler just made up his mind. Hey, at the end of the day, I'm going to go out with these white players. It is what it is. So understand, Tyler has buried himself to a degree enough, especially amongst the black community, to the point where none of us have any pity for him in this situation. Because all of us see a dude who deep down got jungle fever, but he ain't got the game to pull a black woman. So he kind of got self-hate because he wishes his idea of beauty was a white woman, which is his current girl, but at the same time, even he don't glow when he next to her. That's the harsh truth. So I'm not shocked at all that all these other people are coming out and they're holding him accountable, but we should have been holding this couple accountable for a long time because now, based off of the fact that they have business interests together, they have every incentive to act like none of this ever happened. Unfortunately, Tyler, you are put in position now. You are entrapped. This is like entrapment because now you are trapped to essentially have Stockholm syndrome with your captor. You have no other choice but to stick with this woman because you have too many businesses with her. You can't admit that she ain't shit because if you do that, you admit that your judgment skills ain't shit. Then all the people who bought all the stuff from both of you, assuming you were the perfect couple, now they're gonna have some shit to say because they invested in a brand that was fake from the start. So this is why they have no choice right now. Tyler literally is like, Angela, take my phone. You are in charge of our PR team. That's exactly what's going on here. I'm not shocked by it, are y'all? And the reason why I did a live stream tonight is because I would love to hear the community's perspective on this. Because trust me, y'all might assume, I'm talking about the people who don't rock with RBR the long way. Y'all might assume I'm the only one who feels this way. But if you look at my comment section, if you look at this live chat, I guarantee you there are more people who will agree with me than don't. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you're a black channel. Of course they'll agree with you. They hate Tangela. Look, man, me and my fan base, we disagree on a lot of things. You're just not around to see what we disagree on most of the time. Because you're only around to hate. But that goes back to the irony behind Angela acting as if she needs to incorporate the feds in this situation because of the hate Tyler got because he weaponized race to his advantage, which he did. And for you to get them involved, but then allegedly doing a fair on the guy, it really shows how psychotic your spirit is. That dude is on national TV making 20, 30 racks for you on All Stars. He's also marketing your vegan cookbook, which I know you ain't sell shit of because no one's buying the bullshit. But still, with that said though, the man did everything in his power to make sure by the time he came back home, y'all could at least be $50,000 richer. None of that even matters to you. And here's my thing. If that ex is so great, why'd you leave him in the first place, Angela? Now you're showing us that you have a different pattern, okay? Something tells me you left your ex because you weren't feeling him for different reasons, probably because he didn't have as much money. And I've already broken down in this video that Angela used Tyler. It's common sense at this point. No woman will cheat on a man who has done so much for her reputation the way Tyler has done. Tyler made Angela seem like a wife. Tyler made Angela seem like a good person, even though she was clearly a vile, egomaniacal chick all of BB20. Tyler helped her rebrand herself by creating a brand with her. And she literally betrayed him in one of the worst ways known to man. And this guy is so cucked and emasculated, he has to sit there and act like that didn't happen because he was dumb enough to sign the dotted line and start a business with a chick he didn't vet out properly. And here's my point. He was in a rush to start that business with her. He was in a rush to do all these things with her because Swayleigh existed, because Swayleigh were thriving, because Swaggy proposed to Bayleigh in front of his face and stole the show. So he felt like he had to steal some of that momentum back by wifing a chick who ain't even that into him. And she took it because that's the cash cow. Of course I'm going to be with you, Tyler. I have nothing going for me. Ding! And those are my thoughts on this. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear y'all thoughts. Because I know y'all got some hot takes, man. But this is my perspective on this. I think this is literally Angela looking at him as a source to make money. Him looking at her as the rebound for Bayleigh. And them both deserving what comes from that. Because both of them did it for... Both of them were with each other for selfish reasons. That's my point. It wasn't organic. It wasn't something... If you really rewatch BB20, the way all of that started off didn't make any sense. If you watched the feeds, they weren't that like that. It wasn't until Angela targeted Bayleigh and got her out that Tyler started to really cuff her like that. And that's because, in his mind, she protected him from the woman he really wants. So in his mind, she proved herself to deserve him because she took the one thing out of the game that was distracting him because he was in love with Bay. Come on, man. Listen. I'm telling no lies right now. I could have been cursing up a storm this video, but I legit believe that the culture in the streets deserved my real analytical prowess, and I think I provided that. You feel what I'm saying? Keyshawn Wright is asking what happened. What happened, Keyshawn, was allegedly, while Tyler was in the BB21 house, Angela went on an excursion to some place called a Sea Pines Resort to go get her back blown out by an ex-boyfriend. That's the story. Brent Wolgamott has confirmed it. Steve from BB Gossip has confirmed it. And Kat Dunn has confirmed it. Those are three polar opposite opinions and polar opposite people when you talk about BB community. Okay? Kat Dunn is more so newer in the circuit. BB Gossip, they're more alternative, but they're heavy hitting. And when you talk about Brent Wolgamott, he's part of what a lot of people view as one of the most glorified franchises in breaking down reality TV. So these are three vastly different sources. And then when you add me to it, to really bookend it and really make it entertaining behind it, oh man, you got yourselves a quartet of just assassins right here. You know what I'm saying? The four of us put together as a forbidden jutsu. All right? That's just my thoughts on it. But no, Miss Valentine, or Mr. Valentine, I'm not sure. I don't want to be judgmental. But they did not break up. And this is my point. They can't break up because they have too many businesses together. It is too costly to break up. Because the minute they break up, they confirm the rumors are true. So right now, they're trying to get as much money as they possibly can from their fan base of shills that don't believe this is true. And their fan base is going to support whatever businesses they have. And they'll do that to prove, we know this isn't true. Keeps going strong, Tangela, right? That's their whole perspective. And they're going to take their money, and they're going to keep acting like that never happened, and they're going to pocket that change. In my opinion, it's smart. It's lucrative. But at the same time, it just goes to show how little they really value their audience if they're willing to even manipulate them. Understand, Angela is an apex narcissist to do this to a dude like Tyler, man. She's an apex narcissist, like facts. Like, this isn't even debatable. Because when you really look at it, who is Angela if she isn't with Tyler? We know who Tyler is if he ain't with her. Who is she if she isn't with him? Now ask yourself, who is she to cheat on him when she ain't shit if it wasn't for him? Now do you see my take on this? It shows you how... it shows you Tyler got played 7 ways to Sunday. That's what it shows you. Facts. This is why I never idolize couples. Terrence, I couldn't agree with you even more than that. You know, in the past, certain people have disliked me because I've attempted to hold Swayleigh accountable. But I do that because I want to see the best for them. I'm not no shill. I'm not no nut hugger. But when they do right, I call it out too. People respect you when you're consistent. What they don't respect is when you play this game of, well, they can do it because they're this color. They can't because they're that color. That's Tangela fans the last 3 years. Exposed. Let's keep it real. I think you mean BB22. Oh, my fault, BB22. I keep saying BB21. I'm going to change that in the title, too. My fault, Wit. Thank you for correcting me on that, though, brother. I appreciate it. Because I keep saying 21. My fault. It was during 22 when she did all of this. Because Tyler wasn't with her no more. He was in the game. It's like all these couple channels on YouTube. Bruh, it's too much money. The term cheaper to keeper means a lot more to Tyler than it will ever mean to an alpha male. You know what I mean? Because an alpha male, they'll just pay the price to get their mental health back. And see, that's another point. Angela brought up mental health awareness in defense of Tyler when he did what he did to Bayleigh and Dayton. When did she ever consider his mental health when she was getting her back blown out at Sea Pines Resort? I guess his mental health don't matter as long as your coochie feel good. Come on, see, this is why people need to be careful. Because when they try to play this game of being holier than thou, it always comes back to haunt them. And this is why I hold people accountable so often, because I can always see how this train will get derailed. I can always see it. Sometimes I'm so far ahead, everyone thinks I'm crazy. Sometimes people think I'm off my square. But then days like this go down, and then people go, Negro Damas. It's the second era, baby. It's lit. It's super lit. What's good, King? What's good, my guy? Even on the show, no one cared for her. That is facts, Terrence. And this is why I'm trying to get y'all to see. Tyler, you did her a favor, bro. You have proven yourself to be a superior simp. Because, dog, the amount of women that would have threw it at you after BB20, you at least owed it to yourself to be a free agent, you know, scout the field a little bit. You know, what they call it, soil your oats, or what do they call it, something like that. At the end of the day, you owed it to yourself to see what the bachelor life looked like, fresh out of being on Big Brother, and fresh out of being the star of that season as well. You, for whatever reason, forgoed all of that, and you allowed Angela to just grab a hold of all of that clout and not let it go. And then the minute you get away from her, it's like she was tired of your presence. She hit up somebody and say, hey, what's good? You know that thing I used to like that you used to do? Let's do that one more time. But let's be discreet about it. You know what I mean? That was her. And at the end of the day, Tyler, man, look, man, whatever money you think you gonna lose if you expose Angela for who she is, trust me when I say, those fans that rep Tangela, they gonna throw all that money to you, man. Take that shit. Separate. Benefit yourself in the process, man. Right now, you are a prisoner in your own relationship. Because of an entanglement that you can't even act like happened. You're being put in the Will Smith position by a woman who is nowhere near a Jada. Boy, I'm calling it like it is, ain't I? Oh, man, this is a classic rant. I ain't even think it was going to be this good. I got to keep it. I literally had like 2 paragraphs worth of notes, and I said, I'm freestyling. I'm freestyling. What's the point? I remember back on BB22, you talked about how they barely cast black men, and 4 years later, nothing has changed. Exactly. And this is why Swayleigh is so hated, because what they represent is a new era of Big Brother casting. See, now, CBS would love to make 50% of every show people of color. But until Swayleigh showed that that could be something that made tons of money, a black couple, CBS didn't care about that. MTV didn't care about like that. Viacom in general did not care about that. They needed to see an example, a blueprint of how this can be advantageous for them. Now all of a sudden they pro-black. Now all of a sudden they pro-black relationships. Now all of a sudden they pro-black family. But it's always money that makes these people make these decisions, not what's from the heart. And if your intention isn't sincere, then quite frankly, I would respect you more if you stop pandering so much, because I think you think I'm that stupid. And Tangela right now obviously believes their fan base is stupid enough to believe that none of this is true, when all of this looks true. If you look at the video of Angela and Tyler on Instagram acting like, oh, we go off social media for one day and everyone thinks we're doing something, that sounds like someone with guilt on their heart. That sounded like someone who is defensive. She looked a little sweaty. You know what I mean? And Tyler had that look like, you gotta explain this, bitch, not me. I'm gonna grab my orange juice. Tyler's starting to get his alpha male up, but he ain't getting enough of it up because he's still with the chick. But at the end of the day, keep making her explain this, Tyler. Eventually, she gonna put a foot in her mouth. That's facts. My guy, you got me cracking up. DJ Focus, what's poppin', coach? Hey, man, this is why I did this video, because I knew the streets needed this one, man. You know what I mean? This is my wheelhouse. What can I say? You give me a video like this, I don't even need to know all of the information beforehand. I can just go off. It's just what I am. It's who I am. You know? And Robyn Kass quit. And that's the thing. I wonder why Robyn Kass quit. Maybe it's because now it's got to be 50% people of color and she ain't good at that department. Exposed. Okay? Yeah, dead clock's right twice a day. Yeah, she got Swayleigh right. But how many did she get wrong before and after that? That's how I look at it. Okay? So kudos to you for picking those two. Kudos. But outside of that, what did you get right? And that's just how I look at it, man. You know? If this was baseball, Robyn Kass is batting .095 from the damn plate. You know what I mean? In terms of picking black folks. She is less than 100% less than 100 batting average. That's terrible. That's about a third of how good you should be to be considered a great caster. But for years, she was able to get away with it because they were making money. But I think because black people woke up and we're getting fed up, and because they know Robyn Kass is who we blame for most of this, they knew she was the sacrificial lamb that had to get sent to the Shadow Realm. That's just my thoughts on it. But with that said, is my hopes up that BB23 is going to be incredible all of a sudden? No. I still think there's a possibility it could be trash as well, but we'll wait and see. Performative activism, exactly. That's all you see online. And this is why my channel is so unique. I was keeping it a buck before I even knew what the hell monetization was. You feel me? So for me, it wasn't a situation of, I'm doing this because I can make money off of it. So when I criticize a Tangela or when I criticize a production, it comes from a place that is 100% sincere. And this is why no one else can really do what I'm doing in this video right now. Because I have the CV and resume to prove that I have stood by this perspective all the time. This isn't a, oh, well, let's just change everything we stood on for the past 3 years. Let's just change it up because this is the right thing to do. Let me fit in with the world. That's not my stilo. People got to fit in with my take because now they see Angela ain't shit. Now they see the mustache mistress. And it's funny, I've always called her a mustache mistress. A mistress is usually a woman who is helping an affair go down. Did I see that coming? The GOAT has returned, coach. Yes, well, she was let go. I don't know if she quit. I don't know if it was a mutual termination. I just know she's in the Shadow Realm now, Lexi. Okay, she's in the Shadow Realm. She's in the Soul Stone right now. You feel it, dig me, coach? It's looking crazy in these streets. And she casts bland people. I couldn't agree with that anymore. Shout outs to Eddie James. Doesn't Robyn Kass cast Canada as well? I believe she did. But if she's let go for U.S., she's probably let go for Canada too. Unless they kept her for Canada. And then I'm worried for Canada. That's half stepping at his finest if they kept her for that. But I doubt they did. If they let her go, they let her go cold turkey. For every Swayleigh, there's a Lawan and Ramses. Facts. That's complete facts. Let's keep it real. And that's why we rock with Swayleigh so hard. We ain't never seen nothing like that before. Meanwhile, Tangela, there's like 17 different Tangelas the past 20 years. If we're being real honest with ourselves, there's like 17 of them. It's like 17 of them. Listen, if I see the same brand of Pop-Tarts at every store I go to, I'm less likely to think that that's a good flavor. You know, I need to see some limited edition stuff to want to put my money where my mouth is. Sometimes it's that simple. And Swayleigh are limited edition, okay? They are the holographic Yu-Gi-Oh card. They are the Egyptian god cards. And let's just keep it real. Tangela, y'all 4-star monsters. Boy, all your polymerization, all that hot shit. I'm sure Tyler would love to stop being fused with your ass, Angela. Let's keep it all the way funky. All right? He's tired of this polymerization. He's like, let me get the hell out of here, man. This chick does not know what she's doing, coach. Not at all, boy. He would love for Joey Wheeler to use the time wizard to go back in time and cuff Bayleigh. All right, let me stop. There's too much Yu-Gi-Oh references. Let me stop. Monetization, Alex, is essentially YouTube paying you for your content. So before I knew anything about making money off my content, I was saying a lot of the shit that a lot of people now are saying for the money. That was my point. There's this commentator, Lovely, who I like because both of you keep it real. That's what's up. That's what's up. I missed the beginning where you explained what happened. Angela cheated. She and Tyler are over. No, Lexi. That's the thing. They're not over, but it is alleged that she did cheat on him. I keep saying alleged, but that's just mainly, that's a formality at this point. But I'm saying alleged because I want you all to do your own research and figure it out for yourself. But my point is, at the end of the day, the way they are going about trying to denounce this rumor, it looks like a couple who is looking for answers, who are trying to figure out a way to get this scandal to go. They need Rochelle Washington in this motherfucker, okay? That's how crazy this scandal's getting. Facts, though. That's who y'all need. But black folks ain't helping y'all in this moment. So, Rochelle Washington, she finna say, new phone, who this? You finna dig me? It's so icy for y'all. Put on a thick thermal. Daphne asked the question, Dave, what you think about Jackson admitting to being an addict while on the show? I think that may have played a role in Robyn Kass sitting down. Because at the end of the day, if you rig an entire season around someone who's an addict, then you're a little bit too much addicted to someone that looks like him having everything revolve around them. Because you're enabling all of the red flags just to make sure someone who looks like Jackson succeeds. And that in itself shows why she's so bad with picking black players now, doesn't it? Oh man, I'm saying a lot of stuff that is just hitting. It's just hitting. What can I say? Brad asked the question, Dave, what do you think about white folks acting as if they care about BLM? Well, hold up. Let me keep it all the way funky in these streets. I support the idea that Black Lives Matter. I don't support the organization either, so I don't want to give you the wrong impression myself. However, I think people are grifting right now. I think they see where the wind is blowing. So if they support that, they believe their business won't get shitted on. It's literally self-preservation that is leading to all of these people who in any other time would never act like they care about black people. The only reason why they're acting like they care now is because the terrain demands that they do. The minute the terrain demands they don't have to again, we're going to see the real them come back out. We're going to. But with that said, like I said in my song, The New Era, which you all can see on the channel's homepage, look, I was pro-black way before BLM. You feel it, dig me? I never needed a movement to tell me something matters, because I live that every day. Meanwhile, these people, they have the privilege of being able to wait for a movement to act like they care, and that's the problem in itself. But let's keep going. I agree, Lexi. Tyler, listen, the way Shorty played him tonight, well, not tonight, but the way she played him during BB22, coach, man, listen, he looking crazy, bruh. You know, listen, you literally got Angela. I would love to know how Tyler found out about this, right? This feel like there's a, caught me red-handed sleeping with a girl next door. It wasn't me. Picture this, we were both butt naked, banging on the sea pines floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit looks crazy to me, man. And see, now I gotta figure out who this ex-dude is. Cause he a dirty Mac too. Cause he telling the whole world, cause obviously he don't want them to last either. So that just goes to show how terrible of a person Angela is. She ain't even smart enough to read that this dude ain't shit. It's one thing to, all right, my man's been gone for a minute. I just want to get some action real quick, something to hold me on over. Well, out the band. To a certain extent, I ain't gonna blame a girl that much for that. If we don't have all the context of a business together and all that other stuff, right? But the fact that you take into all of this context, the fact that Tyler helped her reach a level she would never reach by herself ever, and for her to basically exploit that for personal gain and for a damn cheap-ass orgasm from a dude she obviously didn't care that much about because she broke up with him in the first place, it just goes to show how little she thought of Tyler in the first place. And that's just what it all reverts back to. If you really love someone enough to start a business with them, you would never consider cheating on them. And if you love someone enough to incorporate the feds in an investigation because you don't like the way people are coming at you and him, then you probably should be showing him all of the respect that you demand others show him through your actions, Angela. Instead, you're the quintessential, I don't practice what I preach because I'm privileged. And that's the truth. BB23 will be a bunch of Candace Owens and, and moist black folks. Uvong, you... he came through with the sniper. That's sad the way we fiend for her. The way he fiend for her. I agree with that, Ubong, but once again, a dude who is a beta with a broken heart, he will convince himself the next girl loves him as much as he loved the one that broke his heart. Because he needs to mend that to move on. Somewhere along the way, Tyler believed he owed her after he did more than enough for her by just being next to her, right? I always talk about how you can rub off clout on someone just from standing next to them. He did that for her in more ways than he realizes. He didn't have to start no business with her. He did more for her financially just by being in a relationship with her. This would be like if George Clooney. This is like this would be like if George Clooney was dating some random chick, right? Then all of a sudden, okay, he's dating her well out the bam, but then he decides to start a business with her. Like, bro, y'all ain't even married. Chill out. And you notice, he dated all these other women. I mean, he was with Stacy Keibler. You took an L there, George Clooney. You should have wifed that. I'm keeping it funky. No disrespect to your current wife. I'm just saying Stacy Keibler was the baddest chick I ever seen you with. That's all I'm saying. But at the end of the day, he ain't starting no business with Stacy Keibler. He ain't starting no business with none of these other chicks. He waited for him to get married. Then him and his new wife, they started something. That's a man who knows his worth. That's a man who's never been thirsty for a woman to come save him from his own peril. And then that makes Tyler look more like a damsel in distress in the long run. And see, that's the most ironic part of it. We have a lifeguard who needs to be saved. His girlfriend is a woman who gave out community sugar walls to a different man while the lifeguard was patrolling a different beach. This creates so many other questions, right? And at the end of the day, man, hey, man, listen. You gotta know this smoke was coming, Tangela. Y'all had to have known it. I mean, y'all blocked me on Twitter, man. Now, that account no longer exists, but y'all blocked me on Twitter because y'all knew I was the one. I was the one who could J down. You know what I mean? I could, listen, we could turn this into the dozens. You know what I mean? And that's why they don't like this channel. They can't stand it. But at the end of the day, I mean, they would be more surprised if I didn't do this video, in my opinion. Nisa, oh, dang, the comments are moving fast now. It's lit. Ubong, and she does him like this, and she saw how he was all summer. Bro, the dude turned himself into a twig becoming a vegan. It impacted his competition prowess during the season. And here's my thing. If you were eating a little bit more meat, Tyler, you maybe had a chance to win BB22. Because you probably would have had your head screwed on a little bit better to understand you needed to work with the black women that you tried to use for personal gain. But I'm not trying to rehash old talking points. I told you, Chris Smithies, I told you about Tyler, man. I told y'all years ago. I'm not trying to make this an I told you so rant, but man, this is hilarious looking at the feedback, man. Stacy Keibler, one of the baddest women she's one of the baddest women, period. I wouldn't even put her in that category. She's one of the baddest, period. I mean, listen, Kevin Nash almost risked his marriage for that a few times. Scott Steiner, he almost risked it a few times. He holding up the rope. He like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But who you talking about dated Stacy Keibler? I was talking about George Clooney. I think that's Jay talking right there. This could never work with Cody and Jess. Cody is actually an alpha. And see, that's the funniest part of it all. You can say whatever you want about Cody, but at least Cody is consistent. At least Cody doesn't waver. He doesn't have his highs and his lows where you can't tell if this dude has too much estrogen in his diet or if he has too much testosterone. When it comes to Cody, you know he's 0 to 100 testosterone. With Tyler, it's like, it's so inconsistent. And at the end of the day, I think these things played a role in why she cheated on him. Because he isn't taking control, man. When you look at the Tangela name, it's all of Angela's name in it and one letter from Tyler's. But 90% of why it's successful is Tyler. In my opinion, y'all should change your name to Tyler or something. Well, no, that's too close to Tyler, right? You need to change your name to Tylera or something. Do something because it's all Tyler. It's not even Angela. The fact that you allowed her to convince you to call it Tangela, and that's why I had to put a Pokemon on the dang thumbnail, by the way, is because the Entanglement is the Pokemon Tangela. I mean, this writes itself from a comedic standpoint. It writes itself. It's hilarious to me. It really is. Yeah, George Clooney, yep. Alex says, she had to have done it more than one time. Stress makes you resort back to old habits. Oh, there's no way. Come on, man. There's no way she went to some Pines resort. Okay, we're talking about resort. We're talking about something like Wisconsin Dells or something. Her and Tyler grew up in Hilton Head. They've been well off pretty much their whole life. So she probably paid top dollar to get her back blown out. Let's really provide some context here. They really dotted their I's, crossed their T's to make this as incognito as possible so this scandal wouldn't be made public. It gets made public. Now she has Tyler working with her to cover up something that emasculated him. I can't make this up. Tyler, it's time to jack out of the Matrix. It's time. Go to a damn phone booth ASAP. Bring, bring, bring. Get out of there. You feel me? Before you have a few agents coming your way. Because this chick is going to bring agents towards you. I'm just keeping it real, man. She don't got your best interest, man. I know it's hard to admit a L, especially when this L was perpetuated by another L of you not being able to get Bayleigh. But trust me, man, you will find a woman who worships your dirty draws 10 times as much as Angela ever did on her best day once you start to have more self-respect for yourself. And even though I'm not the biggest Tyler fan, as a man, I feel like I owe it to you to tell this to you, man. I think I owe it to you. You know? Now, I know you don't rock with me. You're not going to listen to me. You shouldn't listen to me. But with that said, I don't expect you to watch this whole video anyway. But still, I think it's incumbent upon me to give out some game in case there happens to be a subscriber, a follower, a patron member who may be going through the same thing Tyler is. This is a learning situation. This is educational. Don't get Tylered. Tyler, you are becoming a verb in this motherfucker. I'm keeping it all the way real. Don't get Tylered. You're becoming a verb. I'm just saying. Swaggy would never let this happen. But to be fair, Bayleigh wouldn't be no thought. It's the buck stops right there. She wouldn't be no thought. Right? So in all reality, it's never possible to happen that way because of that. Right? It's because the character of the woman makes it impossible. Now, here's the thing. Bayleigh grew up in a similar background as Angela. Technically speaking here, Bayleigh would have the same built-in excuse Tangela fans are trying to give Angela subconsciously for why she did this. Bayleigh could have the same excuse. She grew up rich. But Bayleigh has more self-awareness than this chick does. Bayleigh also knows that her and Swaggy equally... I won't say equally. Hold on. Let's be fair here. It's like 60-40 Bayleigh Swaggy, at least, in terms of who really... who generates that Swayleigh support the hardest. But I'm not trying to be divisive in this video. My point is, when it comes to Tangela, it's 90-10. That relationship ain't as equal as Swayleigh feels like it is, at least. And when it comes to Swayleigh, Swaggy get money, Bayleigh get money. Neither party is reliant on the other to pop off, to bubble. As my brother Corey Holcomb would say, neither one is reliant on the other to bubble. When you look at Tangela, one is relying on the other to bubble. And in my opinion, she thought her man was so much of a simp, she knew he'd take her back even if she did it. Cheated on him. So she did it. Because she didn't think anything could come from it because she knows her man. She knows him well enough to know how he'll react to it. And that makes Tyler look real funny style. Because the last thing you need is for people to assume that Angela could possibly be your beard. And that's all I'm going to say there. I'm going to leave it there. You know? Angela gave me Karen vibes in the house and on her YouTube channel. Absolutely, Miss Deirdre. Those are the vibes she gets all the time. Everything is hatred until we try to make her aware of how black people are treated. Then she goes, oh, you guys are blowing this out of proportion. That's not what I meant. That's not what he meant. I can read his mind from this far away. I do magic. And see, that's another thing. This feels like some witchcraft, man. This feels like some witchcraft on her part, man. I gotta be honest. I feel like Tyler is too smart of a person within the game to be this dumb outside of it. Especially when this is 2 years removed from the Bayleigh stuff. Even if he could have had some PTSD that flared back up playing with her again, in between all of that, all of the strawberry milkshake caking he was doing, it just does not make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Unless this dude is 100% being played a little bit, and unless this chick is using a little bit of witchcraft against him. I don't know, man. Look at the Kardashians. Look at the way they keep men. Men just keep trying to audition in front of them. No matter how many times they've been run through, let me audition next. I think some witchcraft plays a role in that. And whenever a man is incapable of tapping into all the things that makes him a man, it's almost as if there is some other force keeping him from reaching that. But hey, maybe Tyler's always been this way. I mean, but damn, never in my life would I think he was this much of a simp. That's just my thoughts on this. But I'm gonna answer a few more questions, and I'm gonna let y'all be, man. I ain't trying to make this video last forever. Bay would never do it, and see that's it in a nutshell, Miss Malika. You know, she would never do it. You know, I remember during BB20, Angela said, "I would love for you to be the first ever black winner of Big Brother." A week later, she sends her out the door, right? You know, but this chick wants to preach. She wants to cry about hate. How hateful you got to be to do that? How hateful do your man got to be to use the death of his father to blindside Swaggy? How hateful are y'all? There are other ways to play the game. Y'all chose to play the game as dirty as you played it. Then when people reciprocate that dirt back on you, now all of a sudden it's, you guys need to be the bigger person. Nah, you should have been the bigger person from the get-go. Then none of this would be a scandal in the first place. So, ladies and gentlemen, these have been my thoughts on the trouble in Hilton Head, the trouble in paradise, ladies and gentlemen. Please comment below. Please like this video, and of course, share it with all the fans of Big Brother that you rock with. Do you agree with my perspective on this Tangela entanglement? Do you believe Angela was using Tyler for clout and money from the start? And do you think Tyler did not assess her angle, her agenda that really has him behind an 8-ball? Or do you disagree with me? That's fine. I'm willing to have a debate in the comment section below. But one thing's for certain, I felt like I needed to give the streets and the culture something, because I felt like everyone was hitting me up, y'all. I'm getting DMs on Instagram. People requesting, hey, man, accept this request. I got something to send you. I got people on Twitter hitting me up. Bro, you've been missing. I literally get off work. I look at all this stuff and I go, always get love when we go OT. I pray I make it home in one piece. I pray, I pray. I said, skip it. We going overtime, baby. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this rant entitled Trouble in Hilton Head. I'm Dave Smith with Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. This is the second era. Let it begin.